Thursday Night Football in the city of brotherly love, 109-110. Tom Brady and Jalen Hurts, 7s across the board. Some 6.5s here showing up, Kyle. 53.5. We opened up at Pinnacle, still sitting at 53. And if we take a look at FanDuel, 51.5. That now sits at 53. So depending on your shopping, you also get 51.5 at Bet365. PointsBet New Jersey, 51.5. So a lot of fluctuating numbers. But the one thing I see is Tampa Bay coming in absolutely red hot on offense. The Eagles seem to play very good defense, but against teams that don't have very good offenses.
Yeah.
Saw the two really good offenses play the Eagles. The Cowboys, they had no answer. The Kansas City Chiefs, they had no answer. So now here comes Tampa Bay into town with Tom Brady. It's a short work week. I understand that. They're coming south to north. But I don't see the Eagles defense holding down the fort all that much. If we're looking at a 50.5 price at DraftKings, which I don't think is still there, might be a delay, 53.5 sounds about right here. I'm a little worried about the Philadelphia Eagles offense overall, but if I'm looking from a game perspective here, 7 points Thursday night is a lot. And you take a look at Tampa Bay, who did blow the doors off the Miami Dolphins, but not necessarily blowing the doors off a lot of football teams. But having said that, I don't know how I can trust the Eagles, right? Did you watch the game yesterday like I did? 3.5 quarters. I'm like, this team stinks. Jalen Hurts, we should be Gardner Minshew next week. And some miraculous way, Carolina turned the football over repeatedly and had a block punt. The Eagles won the football game. Tampa Bay is waiting for the Eagles, Kyle.
Yeah, and I'm not happy that they keep doing this to us because, you know, how long have we said we don't like these big road dogs on these short weeks?
Yep.
And every single week,
good on Thursdays,
the better team has been the road team. It feels like every single week, and these numbers have been like this. Like, of course, you're not trusting the Eagles here. The problem is, you know, that Tampa Bay secondary does scare you a little bit, but does the Eagles passing game take advantage of that? Are you worried about Jalen Hurts dropping back and picking apart your secondary? Not so much. We know it's going to be tough to run the ball here. I mean, for the Eagles to cover, Jalen Hurts is going to have a Herculean effort. He's going to have to carry the ball more than 10 times. He'll probably have to one run into the end zone. I got to rewatch the Dolphins Tampa Bay game just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure here that it's Bucks or bust. Looking at the team totals, I mean, the Bucks are going to need to get to 30. The Eagles team total at 22.5 at -110 is a little bit interesting to me early in the week, just because I expect them to be behind. They're going to have to throw, and that's the weakness of Tampa Bay's defense is that secondary. Jalen Hurts should be able to get away from some of those Todd Bowles blitzes, create some time in the pocket, maybe some broken plays here. Do they win the game? No way. Do I think they cover? Probably not. I won't touch that number on a Thursday night game on the road. I'll just leave that alone. But maybe the Eagles, Eagles team total 22.5, or if you want to pay at 20.5 with some juice, maybe something like that. But for the most part, I'll just be doing a couple props, and of course, we'll go over that on our Thursday night show.
Yeah, the one thing that you do know is that the Bucks are banged up in the secondary, and the Eagles could give a damn about running the football. So you're always looking at overs, even though it didn't work out this weekend, even though the Eagles team total did hit, the game total didn't hit. But the Eagles aren't going to run the football. They made that clear. They're going to throw it 50 times a game if they can. And if Tampa Bay answers the bell, which it seems like they always do on offense, they're going to get after. Now, there is one thing in the chat box that said the Eagles have a bad secondary. Not necessarily. I'm going to read you the yards that they've given up per game over the first 5. 136, 189, 220, 271 to the Chiefs, and 158 to Carolina. Their defense is not the issue. It's the offense and what you can actually sustain, because you see the Eagles when they go up against Kansas City. 103 yards on the ground, 358 in the air. Dallas, when you're getting blown out, 303 in the air. But this weekend against Carolina, who has a decent defense, 91 yards on the ground and only 182 in the air. That doesn't cut it when you have to get into a game, Kyle, where you better get 25-plus points if you want to have a chance to beat the Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. And it just makes me sick looking at touchdowns on the road. But how could you back Philadelphia? I know it was a good win against Carolina yesterday. I kind of, without Christian McCaffrey, we went into that game liking the Eagles to sort of cover in this one without McCaffrey, right? Yep. I mean, we all took the Eagles because you're not trusting Sam Darnold. So, I know Carolina was a nice little story. They had a good record, yada, yada, yada. But did we really think they're one of the best teams in the league? I think we figured out yesterday that they are not. Whew, God, it's awfully tough. But I do think that Eagles team total makes sense. They're just going to be throwing so much against a secondary that is beat up and beatable. Got to think Jalen Hurts can make a few plays with his legs and avoid that blitz. And when he does, those receivers are going to be open. Some big plays in that one. Should be a lot of fun to watch. Tampa Bay is going to stomp on your Eagles. I think we already know that. But do we want to take a touchdown favorite on the road on Thursday nights? You don't make a lot of money that way, do you?
Yeah, it's tough here. Taking a look at some of these odds, over 20.5, -160 at BetMGM. Let me see if Caesars has a price here, or an alt price here on that Thursday night game. 51.5 is the total. Let me see what the Eagles. Let's see. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28 -150. That's outrageous. And the Eagles are 20 at -160 at that perspective. So 20, I don't know. It's not really a key number all that much. So maybe look at the 21.5 -115. But we got some time to break that game down. Just an interesting one that I do expect points in that game because Tampa Bay is going to score points regardless of who they play.